mind-body connection. As you can, I gave you a bunch of stuff. This isn't original with me. I went to a workshop on the mind-body connection, and most of these things came from the handouts that I got there. But I came away from the workshop feeling like there was so much overwhelming support for how beneficial this kind of intervention can be with children, that I just thought we need to start incorporating some of this in what we do. So I've talked to the BSCs about putting in their treatment plans movement breaks and having more movement incorporated in what we do. If it's in the treatment plan, then we can do it with our children without you having to explain to the teacher why you're having the child, stand up or leave the room or whatever to do these kinds of interventions. So exercise is really for the brain. I probably would change that not to and say exercise is really for the brain and the body. It affects mood, vitality, alertness, and feelings of well-being. What we know is that there's parts of the brain that associate movement with emotions. Movement builds and conditions the body and the brain. It sets up building blocks for learning, and it changes the neurochemistry of the brain. Negative thoughts go away with exercise. For example, and I don't have a lot of time, and I don't want to cite a lot of boring studies to you, but one study found that exercise is as effective as the prescription of Zoloft. Zoloft is a really common medication that's prescribed for anxiety and depression. So what they found was that exercise was as effective as this medication. Exercise lowers stress hormones and releases dopamine, which we all recognize as that wonderful hormone that makes us feel good. It also makes us focus better. An example as far as like an ADHD child or adult is concerned, exercise builds the neurotransmitter GABA, G-A-B-A, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, so it reduces input and helps us focus. So there's a ton of research out there to support how wonderful exercise is. 2 school districts, and again, there were a bunch of school districts who have put this into practice. And I'll just give you a couple. One in Charleston, South Carolina, and again, it's a Charleston, South Carolina school district, meaning they did this in all of their schools, from elementary to high school. They began every day with 30 minutes of movement. Movement being things like basketball, jumping rope, stationary bikes, hula hoops for the little kids, pogo sticks. And what they found was that in the first 4 months, there was an 83% decrease in disciplinary problems, and there was an increase in attendance, decrease in tardiness. And in a Pennsylvania school, Titusville, which is a very low-income school district, they added 10 minutes to their schedule and took time away from academics so that they could do daily phys ed. What they found was that on standardized test scores, there was an increase, that the standardized test scores in reading increased by 17% above their average and 18% for math. Prior to instituting this program, their scores were below the state average. Of significance to us, though, I think, is that there has not been a fist fight in this school district since they started this program. So, talking about movement then and how you might incorporate that in your day with the children that you're working with, it would be planning periodic movement breaks. Again, I hesitate to use the word exercise because we're not talking about a lot of strenuous stuff here. We're talking about just getting up and moving. I can tell you that this workshop that I went to, initially, she said, okay, everybody stand up, and everybody went, oh, no, not this, right? So we all stood up. By the middle of the afternoon, when everybody's kind of going like this, like, is this going to be over soon? I didn't see any of that in the room. She got us up periodically during the day and had us do some of these things that I'm going to show you, and there was no one in the room looked like they were nodding off. So I can tell you from personal experience that it is effective. So these would be movement breaks that would be incorporated not when the child is angry or crying, not when you're having a behavioral problem, because by then you've actually like moved into a different part of your brain. When you're upset, when you're angry, when you're out of control, this is not going to work. This is to be used when you see the child maybe getting a little antsy, maybe having a hard time focusing, maybe just randomly through the day for no particular reason at all, to be able to use some of these interventions. So, going through the handout, most of it's self-explanatory. I included some suggestions for the movement breaks, and then there's actually some diagrams that she gave us that that I think would be helpful, so you can kind of understand what they look like. Just leafing back to where it says beanbag boosters and ball challenges, I included that because summer's coming. I understand that you're probably not going to be throwing beanbags around in a school setting or, throwing a ball around in the hallway. If you can, great, but I'm guessing that would probably be a little problematic. But these are really good exercises for summer. So I would incorporate these in what you're doing with the kids during the summer. There's some power stances there. Okay, so I'd like everybody to stand up. Woo. Okay, everybody moan. Give out the moan. I know there's not a lot of room, so don't worry about it. Again, I just want you to feel what this is like and see if you feel it's very warm in here, so I know this isn't going to be too much fun. Okay, so the easiest things to do are mountain, steeple, feet together, hands above, want to look like a steeple, and start. So, steeple, star, mountain, star, steeple. So you mix it up and you have them anticipate. So you get to the point where you can say, okay, let's do star, and immediately they start to pose. You can start that way, or you can have them go through different movements. And again, the list is there. Most of it's self-explanatory. Some of the really cool ones are the wall push-ups. You can actually have hands on the wall and have the kids go out and actually do wall push-ups. Kids love to do this kind of stuff. And again, it's not strenuous. It doesn't matter how big or small the child is. It'll be a lot of fun. Another one is paint the rainbow if you can. I know it's hard. You bend and you kind of make a rainbow movement, like you're painting the rainbow. Doesn't that feel good? Yes, it does. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? Oh, for 8 kids, the lazy 8, you can draw it on a piece of paper, or you can draw it on the ground, or you can just have them do it if they're able to do an imaginary figure 8. But just kind of do this with your arm. Okay? And then do it with your other arm. Now do it with both arms. Let's wait. Oh, that was my favorite. You didn't have a good time. Thanks for being so One more thing. First thing in the morning, I would have every child you work with strike a power pose. Now there's a bunch of them in there. You can look at the pictures. But a power pose, the best one that I think, the one I think works the best is the Wonder Woman stance. So everybody do a Wonder Woman stance. Check it out. Fist on your Wonder Woman. Come on, Superman. Okay, so, and then combine that with I am capable. I am capable. Or any of the other suggestions I list there. But you want to make sure that the child is saying it out loud. It could be friendly, I'm social, and whatever works. Good idea for all of you too, it really does work. But to say it out loud, because when you say something out loud, your subconscious hears you say that, and then your subconscious works to make that true. And I guarantee you, you will find that's true. If you say, today will be a good day, what your brain then picks out of your day is all the things that go well. On the other hand, if you say, today's going to be a really lousy day, what your brain's going to pick out are all the things that go wrong. The light turned red, I'm late for work, my shoes are untied, whatever. Everything your brain is going to figure those things out. So you want the child to start with the power pose and something very positive every morning. Make sense? Easy stuff, right? Okay. Everybody can sit down.